Shalom, shalom. Now, and praise to the Most High and Son of Yahweh Shai. Thank you, Lord, for letting us come together on this Wednesday class to get edified in your name. The name of the class is called Good Tree Bring Forth Good Fruit. Kind of touching to some of these spirits that we deal with on a day-to-day. I also want to touch on some of these spirits, man. Brothers got to show their diligence in this truth. Don't let their fire get put out. There's a whole bunch of different things and aspects that brothers need to be kind of touching on, you know, especially after the feast day. You know, like I broke that class down on the Sabbath beautifully, man. How the Most High God had always required us to dedicate ourselves to Him. Guess what? We always dedicated the temple. So now that we don't have the standing temple, the Most High God requires us to dedicate the temple, which is ourselves, to Him first and foremost over everything. So, first precept we're going into is Luke chapter 6, verse 45. Should have had your little break today, Kings. Your voice all right today?
Yeah.
Good. Good. Might do a little reading today, too. Okay. When we get there, let's read it.
The book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 45. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bring forth that which is good.
Now, he's telling us that a good man, he said, out of the good treasure of his heart, man. Meaning that he laying up the treasures for what? For the kingdom of heaven. He's being diligent in his work. He's showing forth that he's putting the Most High God first. Showing the Most High God that, hey, I'm going to follow your law, statutes, and commandments, man. So guess what he also is teaching? Now his children doing the same thing, man. Read.
And an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil.
Read.
For of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaks.
Because this is what people do. When you be like, brothers, you see brothers there, they're messing around here. Man, F that nigga, I ain't doing that. Guess what? Your heart had already thought like that. When you hear somebody talking like that, a lot of times, guess what, man? A lot of times we don't accept people for what they really are. If a person show you that they say F you and they feel that way, guess what? This is really how you feel. You might come back and apologize later. But then, guess what? If he really did feel that way, guess what? You won't hear that back from him again. But if they did feel that way, you'll hear the same thing over again. These are the things that we have to deal with most of the things in our life. And I know it's hurtful for a lot of brothers and sisters to deal with it, but that's the reality of things. If I say I love you and I'm not, and then I punch you in your jaw, I'm like, bro, I didn't mean to do it. I'm sorry. You come right back out of the side and I punch you in your jaw again. Do I still mean it? Hey, the thing is, guess what? If I see a person that's a liar, I'm going to take him as being a liar. If I see a person that's being a thief, I'm going to take him as being a thief. I'm not going to give him no more credit than what he gives me. If that's what he is, that's what he is. That's why the Most High God judges our heart. Whatever he see in you, if this is what you are, this is what you are. There ain't no exceptions to this thing, man. Let's go to Matthew chapter 7, verse 17. You got to learn how to start dealing with, like you say, the things concerning our hearts, man, and concerning the Most High God. When we don't, guess what? Even in marriages, we hope for our wives and the wives hope for a husband to be in the spirit, man. Especially us walking this walk, man. But everybody's not walking in the spirit. So when you see spirits on people, guess what? Do we consider that they got a spirit on them, or do we go into the same level that they go on and we move the same way they move on? Because guess what? If he telling you F you, and guess what? You telling him F you back, guess what? Do you feel that way too? Or are you just saying something? Which way is it? Read it up.
The book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 17. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit.
He said, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit. Good fruit. Read on.
But a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit.
He said, but it's go one and the same. They don't miss each other. Just like the good gonna do good, the evil gonna do evil. If they don't miss, they one and the same. they ain't gonna miss each other, man. If I'm always trying to do good, if I'm trying to keep the God's law, that means I'm trying to do good. If I'm not trying to keep God's law, that means I'm not trying to do good. Simple as that, man. It's like you say, it ain't the Esau, oh, I got a gray area type of thing. No, that ain't the thing. Because we got to start thinking how our God thinks. A lot of times we really don't think how our God thinks. We think how we think. But when we go back to reality, those good fruits, these are the things that the Most High God requires us. Go to 2 Ezra chapter 3. 2 Ezra chapter 3 and start at verse 19.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 3, verse 19.
Mm-hmm.
And thy glory went through 4 gates of fire.
He said, "Now glory went through 4 gates." There's 4 different levels of fire, man. We don't.
And of earthquake. And of wind.
Read.
And of cold. That thou mightest give the law unto thee, seed of Jacob.
So guess what, man? That's guess what? It's saying that it said thy glory went in through 4 gates. It's named them fire, earthquake, wind, and cold. These are things that tried the things, man, with the Most High, that thou mightest give the law unto Jacob, the seed of Jacob, which is us, man. Everything that the Most High God, that's why when he give it to us, it's perfect. It's everything he's giving to us is tried, man. We don't.
In diligence unto the generation of Israel.
He said, but he's giving it to us by the diligence of the children of Israel, man. This is how these things be given unto us. The diligence, us keeping God's laws, man. Watch this, read on.
Verse 20. And yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart. That thy law might bring forth fruit in them.
Because these are the things going back to us being, they say, born again. That you hoping that the Most High God take away our wicked heart. Why? So the Most High God can bring forth the good fruit in us, man. And some people, when you don't try to pray to get that wicked heart or try to do things to get that wicked heart out, guess what's gonna happen? It's gonna come right back. It's coming back every time. You can try to think, guess what? And we've seen this on many cases. And I know captains have bagged me up 100. Seen brothers do good for a while. We looking at them, you ain't doing good. But if that brother don't change, guess what's gonna happen? The same way that brother did, he gonna do it again. If that sister don't change the same thing that she did, she gonna do it again, man.
And the thing is, brothers and sisters can run away from them. You can go from camp to camp. If you ain't shaking that spirit, guess what? You're gonna take that spirit over to wherever else you go. Brothers and sisters gotta be constantly trying to check their spirits. Like we tell brothers and sisters. You gotta constantly check your spirit on these things, man. Constantly, man. It's about Most High God is doing this, trying us, testing us, bringing us through trials and tribulations to guess what? Build us up eventually. Go ahead.
And that's the whole reason for the Most High God to build us up, to get us strong, to show us His love, His wisdom. This is how God set our mind up. He set our mind up for a nation of people to be able to love. Now we get so much to the point, we don't forget how to love our brothers. Now all of a sudden we love all nations. And guess what? If my brother ain't nothing. That's not help my brother. That's not be there for my brother. Now since we want to love, we want to feel love from some other. We just got to have a love from somewhere. So now God looking at us like, just come back to me. These are the things that the Most High God is placing back on our heart again, to open our mind to think how He wants us to be. Because a lot of times we really don't think thinking these matter.
And that's a cut to Christianity. Read verse 20 again, right quick.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 3, verse 20. And yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart, that thy law might bring forth fruit in them.
That
thy law might bring forth fruit in them.
Because they always say that they have fruits. They have the fruit of the Spirit. But this scripture is saying without the law, you can't have no fruits. You cannot. So you cannot have one without the other. So you saying you got the fruits, then talking about the law is done away with. Hey, that's going off totally, man. Because it's telling you that the law is what brings forth fruits in you. The law is going to keep you on track to, guess what? Organize, to build congregations, to keep brothers and sisters' spirits in order. You reading the law, you're dealing with a certain spirit, it's a law for that thing. Guess what? You apply that law to your spirit, and guess what? That helps you to grow. That shows the fruits of the spirit. Go ahead, Doc.
Become. Verse 21, Doc.
Verse 21. For the first Adam burned a wicked heart, transgressed.
Because how did he bear the wicked heart? Guess what? He was beguiled by Eve. He was beguiled by the serpent. He was beguiled by Eve. Read.
And was overcome. And so be all they that are born of him.
He said, and so be are they that overcome. That's why you think the battle is in the household still. Why you think the battle is between man and husband and their wife still? Eve transgressed, her husband followed him. Now, guess what happened? A lot of time men follow their wives right now. Why you think it's so many women in the church? And guess what? And and then the woman, and I'm talking about in the Christian churches, in the Baptist, whatever kind of churches, and these women flock to these churches, and guess what? Their husband's not around. But eventually, guess what happened? She get her husband up in that church too. Because her husband followed the wife now, man. Go ahead.
Let me get a precept real quick. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 44. Because like Ak is going into, when you see these signs, it let you know brothers and sisters are not spiritual. Brothers and sisters are natural. They're being carnal. They're being fleshly. And this is what the first Adam was. When he followed his wife, Adam was going up and he was carnal as hell. Because the scriptures, being spiritual, is keeping the law. The scripture teaches us that, guess what? The man is supposed to lead. Read this right quick, Ak.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 44.
Uh-huh.
It is sown a natural body.
A natural body is a fleshly body. Read on up.
It is raised a spiritual body.
Uh-huh. A spiritual body meaning you're what? Trying to keep the commandments according to Romans 7 and 14. Read on.
There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body.
So it's letting you know the two different types of body. It's our job to be becoming more and what? More and more spiritual every day. Read on.
And so it is written, the first man Adam was made a living soul.
So the first Adam, like Ak is going over in the book of 2 Ezra, he was made a living soul. Read on.
The last Adam was made a quickening spirit.
But that last Adam, which is parabolically going into Christ, is made a quickening spirit, meaning what? Christ had the spirit that, guess what, we all should be trying to obtain to have. Christ, it wasn't nobody more in the spirit than Christ. Read on up.
Howbeit, that was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural, and afterward that which is spiritual.
Read verse 46 again. Read it slow. Take the time.
Verse 46. Howbeit, that was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural, and afterward that which is spiritual.
Read verse 47.
Verse 47. The first man is of the earth.
Earthly, natural, carnal. Read on.
Earthly. The second man is the Lord from heaven.
And the second one is going into Christ on how he put on total spirituality, man. Christ was even tempted. Guess what? Christ was able to overcome those things because he was such in the spirit. That's all I wanted to add. Go ahead, Al.
Let's go back to 2 Ezra. Read verse chapter 3, verse 22.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 3, verse 22. Thus infirmity was made permanent in the law.
He said, but thus infirmity, guess what? That means we're going to keep going through. It made permanent in the law, man. Until the days be fulfilled. Read on.
Also in the heart of the people, with the malignity of the root.
With the malignity of the root, that means it's going to be embedded into us, man. Read.
So that the good departed away, and the evil abode still.
Because this is how these things come. So this is how these things come about. Like I was saying, showing us in 1 Corinthians, you have the natural man. Guess what? If you follow after the flesh, that's what you're gonna get. But when you follow after the spirit, that's what you'll get. These are the two different things that the Most High God is requiring of us. So when we're not thinking like this, we're not thinking how our God expecting us to be. So we'll really have to think in our mind to come back to our God. How do we do that? He showed through wisdom. He showed through love, man. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6. Start at verse 12. Right? This is how the Most High God showed. He showed through wisdom, but he also showed through love. Same, one and the same, man. When you get there, let's read it.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom is glorious
Uh-huh.
and never faded away.
It said, wisdom is glorious and it never fade away. Read.
Yea, she is easily seen of them that love her.
He said, she is easily seen of them that love her. And this is what King Solomon was aspiring to do, to show the love, show how much he loved wisdom, which is going into the Most High God wisdom, which is going to God's law. And read.
And found of such as seek her.
And found of such as seek her. Jump down to verse 15.
Verse 15. To think therefore upon her is perfection of wisdom.
He said to think upon her is the perfection of wisdom, man. That's in the brothers and sisters always trying to seek knowledge, always trying to grow, always trying to stay in the spirit, man, no matter the occasion, because this is something that we supposed to be doing on a day-to-day. That's why Paul said he died daily. That means Paul was, guess what, searching for perfection, man. Read on.
And whoso watcheth for her shall quickly be without care.
He said, so who shall watch it for the wisdom is going to be quickly without care. Because guess what? It's going to be hard to offend you. It's going to be hard to come against what the Most High God had embedded in you. Jump down to verse 17.
Verse 17. For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline.
He said the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline. This is going into wisdom. When you don't have discipline of your spirit, when you don't have discipline to come congregate, when you don't have discipline to get yourself to keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments, man, it's a holy day. It's so many different things that the Lord requires us. And guess what? But God's love said, he said love wasn't grievous to us. We get up all day long, go to these jobs, we go do all kind of things, man. But when it comes down to our God, God said these things ain't get grievous. It's not grievous to the children. It's not grievous to the mother and father. It's not grievous to the grandparents. Guess what? No matter how people go, you can go to any religion. I don't care if you're going through you can be a Muslim, you can be a Catholic. That's what everybody goes back to. They have some form of what God's laws to go back to. And they might add a lot of stuff to it. But guess what? The basics of everybody thing, even going into the so-called white man's laws. What happened if you kill? You're gonna get in trouble. Guess what? If killing wasn't bad, they just let anybody kill. If stealing wasn't bad, guess what? They'll let anybody steal. But though, guess what? Obviously, some of these things trigger in their mind to make them think, well, this is bad. Read on up.
In the care of discipline is love.
He said, in the care of discipline is love. So he said, for every truth, he said, for the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline. This is what we're supposed to have going into wisdom. Desire and discipline, and the care of discipline is love, man. That's what's going into God's laws, man. Read on.
And love is the keeping of her laws.
That's exactly what we just got to read, man. Read.
In the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption.
And see, these are the things that we trying to get rid of. You're trying to get rid of that incorruption because it's easy to get. Incorruption is really easy to obtain. Through anybody, it's easy to obtain, man.
I know, like a lot of times, I know the captains, we talk a lot. Like we say, you want to make sure, hey, 17 is heavy, the desire of discipline. When you knowing that the Most High God keeps sending trials and tribulations your way and you're not handling it according to the scriptures, that means you're not growing in the truth. Like we always say, brothers and sisters can become spiritual midgets in the truth, man, when you don't apply these things, man. And you're going to constantly be tested, man. And that's the litmus test to see if you're growing or not. Am I going to handle this thing carnally or am I going to handle this thing spiritually? This is something that we got to constantly always be asking ourselves, man. Because like we always say, as soon as we go outside those doors, something going to happen, man. Man, something going to happen, man. Is you going to stay in the spirit or not? You got brothers from Northern Tribe probably try to, hey, can't drive right. Boy. Hey, no inflex brother spirit like I do. How you going to handle that thing, Captain Jerubbaal?
I'm trying to see it, man.
How you going to handle that thing?
Yeah.
You know? Made a disagreement with a brother, disagreement with a sister. How you gonna handle those things? You handle it according to the scriptures.
That's a big gun on it. Cause that's be my main thing. Said confess your faults one to another. Hopefully that spirit come about for me, man. Cause I can't take it hard, man. When I see people drive crazy, I ain't gonna lie. That's pretty tough. But It's neither here nor there. Let's go to 2 Chronicles right quick, chapter 32. These right here is going into Hezekiah, man. I'm gonna kind of touch on it today. It's a lot of good information in this thing, man. 2 Chronicles, chapter 32, and we're gonna start at verse 24, man. And it's always good. Just like you got Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John in the Old Testament, you got Samuel, you got Kings, and you got Chronicles in the Old Testament. Guess what? And you ain't gonna see all the books the same, but you'll see some similar stories in those books because they got some of the same kind of they got some of the same dialogues in there in some of the same stories. When you get there, I'll read
the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 32, verse 24.
Mm-hmm.
In those days, Hezekiah was sick to the death.
He said, so in those days, this is talking about Hezekiah. He got sick, man. He said he was sick unto the death, man. We don't know.
And prayed unto the Lord.
And he prayed to the Most High God, man. Read.
And he spake unto him, and he gave him a sign.
So, and he spake unto Hezekiah, and he gave Hezekiah a sign, man. Read on.
But Hezekiah rendered not again, according to the benefit done unto him.
He said, well, Hezekiah didn't render. He said, well, according to the benefit was done for him. Because guess what? When you pray to the Most High God, guess what? And Christ we're gonna touch on that too later on in the class, because Christ tell them if you believe and you receive these things, man. Guess what? So guess what? I'm gonna tell you something. Some of these prayers that brothers be trying to pray, you better watch what you pray, because sometimes when you believe, and you could guess what, you be at the house, man, I hate that such and such. You guess what? And you praying for their death and destruction. You talking about you praying for you talking about I hate my husband. Okay. And guess what? What did the Lord hear you? And he said, guess what? I'll be glad when this nigga leave. Guess what? He might not walk out the door physically. He might go and make him give up the ghost. You better watch what you pray for, man. What if he gave you that favor? Like, you know what? Oh, you tired of them? You really don't want that no more? Or you just want him to leave? Okay. Come on up here, back up here with me then. Now you sitting up in the house. Guess what? That's some stuff you're going to be taking to the grave. Because guess what? You ain't going to tell nobody I prayed for the Most High that my husband would have died. No, you ain't going to tell nobody that. I'm not going to say that. You just be a dead man. Or guess what? Same vice versa with the husband. Lord, just go ahead and take her, Lord. Just go ahead and take her. Guess what? The Lord, he said, I take her. She go out to the store in your car. Now, guess what? Took your car away and her. You got to start thinking, man. But then he said, Hezekiah prayed to the Most High, and the Most High God heard his prayer, because he was so sick, he was sick to death. I mean, he was finna get ready to die. We don't know.
For his heart was lifted up. Therefore, there was wrath upon him and upon Judah and Jerusalem.
Because that's what he didn't render that, even as though the Most High God heard his prayer, man. Verse 26.
Hold up, read that part again. Read that. For his heart was lifted up.
For his heart was lifted up.
Because the Most High God, Hezekiah was a good king. But then, like you say, with brothers, it's the equivalent to brothers and sisters coming into this truth. You get a little bit of knowledge and you get what? Puffed up in this thing. And you start to think that you are more than what you pretend to be. You know, brothers and sisters, like we always say, you got to pray that the Most High God keep you with that humble spirit, no matter how much wisdom and knowledge and understanding you get. And this is a prime example of that, man. You see some brothers, you learn about 10 precepts. Now you precept king around there. Now you want to do Sabbath class. Now you want to do all this. Brothers, sit your butt down, man. Just sit down, take the time, get properly built up, because I guarantee you some things that you hadn't experienced that's going to come about, that the Most High God going to try you and see how you're going to handle that thing, as well as the sisters too. Go ahead, huh?
And we're going to show you how the Most High God gave him a favor, but at the same time, guess what? We're gonna show you through the scriptures, man. All praise. Verse 26.
Verse 26. Notwithstanding, Hezekiah humbled himself.
Said, but notwithstanding, guess what? But he was lifted up just a minute ago. But guess what? Hezekiah humbled himself. Don't read.
For the pride of his heart, both he and the inhabitants of Jerusalem.
Read.
So that the wrath of the Lord came not upon them in the days of Hezekiah.
So guess what? In the days of Hezekiah, it didn't come upon Hezekiah, but it hit somebody else. But guess what? He just got finished praying to the Most High God. The Most High God gave him favor. He was like, okay, then I'm going to give him favor. I'm going to let him live. Jump down to verse 32.
Verse 32.
Okay.
Verse 32. Now the rest of the acts of Hezekiah in his goodness, behold, they are written in the vision of Isaiah.
So now we're going to go into the vision of Isaiah, man. Read on, though.
The prophet, the son of Amos, and in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel.
So guess what? We finna go into the book of Isaiah, chapter 38, start at verse 1. Now this is going to touch on what we just read in 2 Chronicles chapter 32, showing how the Most High God gave him favor because he was sick to death, so the Most High God spared his life. 38, going to start from the top, verse 1.
Okay. The book of Isaiah, chapter 38, verse 1. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death. And Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, came unto him.
So guess what? He was sick unto death. So who came unto him? Isaiah came unto him, man. Read.
And said unto him, Thus saith the Lord.
He said, Thus saith the Lord. Read.
Set thine house in order.
That means get yourself together, man. He telling them to set your house in order, man. Read on.
For thou shalt die and not live.
So he said, because you finna die and not live. So hey, whatever you need to do, your affairs, get them intact. Because guess what? You're gonna die and not live. But watch this though. Read on.
Then Hezekiah turned his face toward the wall and prayed unto the Lord.
So guess what? Isaiah told him he finna die, but he turned around and prayed to the Most High God. The Most High God, guess what? Gave him favor, man. Read on.
And said, Remember now, O Lord, I beseech thee.
Read.
How I have walked before thee in truth.
He said, now guess what? This is the humbling that Hezekiah was doing now. He said, remember now, Lord, I walk before you in truth, man. Read.
And with a perfect heart.
And with what?
With a perfect heart.
I mean, he was keeping the commandments, man. Read on.
And have done that which is good in thy sight.
Read.
And Hezekiah wept sore.
And he wept sore, man. Read.
Then came the word of the Lord to Isaiah, saying.
So now, after Isaiah told him he finna die, so now the word of the Lord, guess what? I guess he prayed to the Most High God. So guess what the Most High God did? Sent his servant right back over here to tell him what was going on. Read on.
Go and say to Hezekiah, Thus saith the Lord.
Isaiah was going to Hezekiah, tell him what the Lord said. Read.
The God of David, thy father. I have heard thy prayer.
The Lord said, I heard your prayer. Going into the same thing we read in 2 Chronicles chapter 32. Read on.
I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will add unto thy days 15 years.
How many more years he gave him?
15 years.
So guess what? The Most High God favored Hezekiah and gave him 15 more years, man. This is how the Most High God do when you following his laws, statutes, and commandments, doing what he asked you to do. Like he said, Hezekiah said, I walk perfect with you. But keep in mind, he still got puffed up. So you think the Most High God not seeing brothers and sisters when they get puffed up, when they go through something, like the Most High God, like he's not watching the things that we say, the things that we do. Because in that whole thing, guess what? After the Most High God blessed him to live, guess what happened next? Go back to 2 Chronicles chapter 32. 2 Chronicles chapter 32, start at verse 27.
The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 32, verse 27. And Hezekiah had exceeding much riches and honor.
He said, so Hezekiah had exceeding much riches and honor, man. Read.
And he made himself treasuries for silver, and for gold, and for precious stones,
Read.
and for spices, and for shields, and for all manner of pleasant jewelry.
Read on.
Storehouses also for the increase of corn and wine and oil.
So guess what? You know corn, wine, and oil. What was those things for? Those are tithing. Those are things that we would give to the Levite for tithing. According to Deuteronomy chapter 16. Read on.
In stalls for all manner of beasts. In coats for flock.
Read.
Moreover, he provided him cities in possessions of flocks and herds.
After he let Hezekiah live, when he let Hezekiah live 15 more years, you see how the Most High God increased Hezekiah, and he gave him all kind of things, man. Read on.
In possessions of flocks and herds in abundance.
Read.
For God had given him substance very much.
Because God gave him substance very much. Guess what? So when we have, say for the Most High God, he give us all these things, and he give us all these things. Guess what? We pray, and the Most High God giving us all his favor. You think he's giving us his favor to do what we want to do? Or he give us his favor, and I'm gonna give you this to say what I feel like I'm gonna do? No. The Most High God give you blessings for a reason. Never think that the Most High God don't give you blessings for, when Lord bless me, I'm just gonna do. Now you better start thinking about the blessing. Just like when you going through trouble, you thinking about the trouble that you're going through. When you get blessing, you better turn around and think the same way. This is something that we need to get in our mind because we don't really do this. Guess what? That's why he said people love me with their heart, but their mouth, they do honor me. But their heart so far from me, man. Read on now.
This same Hezekiah also stopped the upper water course of Gihon.
Read.
And brought it straight down to the west side of the city of David.
Because guess what? He had so much money. He stopped that water course. Now he said, I'm going to bring the water through the city, man, so people can have abundance for their land. He said, man, I'm gonna do this, man, for the people. But read on, though. And
Hezekiah prospered in all his works. Howbeit, in the business of the ambassadors of the princes of Babylon.
You said, howbeit in the princes of the ambassadors and the princes of Babylon, read.
Who sent unto him to inquire of the wonders that was done in the land.
So guess what? They seeing Hezekiah doing all this work and got all this abundance, and they see him bring the water through the land. They looking like, hold on. The kings of Babylon, they looking like, we need to see what's up with this brother. Read on.
God left him to try him.
He said, did what up?
God left him to try him.
God gave him all of that, and God left him to try him to see what he was gonna do. Do y'all see how the correlation of the blessings go? He give you this, then God step back to see what you gonna do next. This is how our God worked, man. He said God left him to try him, man. Read.
That he may know all that was in his heart.
Because he wanted to know, okay, I bless you these 15 years. I want to see what's all in your heart. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 39. These chapters right here go coincide back and forth because guess what? He said this was written keep in mind, this was written in the book of Isaiah. And we're going back to Isaiah chapter 39, start at verse 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 39, verse 1. At that time, pronounce that.
Moradek Balanadan.
Moradek Balanadan. At that time, Moradek Balanadan, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters in a present to Hezekiah.
So they sent letters in the present because it's the same thing we just read in Chronicles. They sent letters to
letters and presents.
Letters and presents to Hezekiah. Why? Because they wanted to inquire what was he doing. Like, dang, he's building all this stuff, he's doing all this. What is this guy doing? You know, when we be in captivity, I don't care. Guess what? In captivity, we have people that's rich too. Yes, we do. But once I got and give you all these things, guess what, man? Hey, he don't give you all these things. He just, hey, boy, get up. Tap it. Get up. I'm talking to you. Get up. The Most High God didn't give you all these things for nothing. This ain't how he played. So guess what? They sent letters and presents to Hezekiah. Read on.
For he had heard that he had been sick and was recovered.
So, but guess what? They heard that he was sick and was recovered, which we had already covered it in 2 Chronicles chapter 32, verse 24 through 26. We had already covered it. Read on.
And Hezekiah was glad of them.
He said, so Hezekiah, guess what? He was glad. Oh, y'all wanna see what we got? Oh, I mean, y'all send me presents. Y'all want to see what's going on? Watch this. Read on.
And showed them the house of his precious things.
So guess what? Hezekiah was so happy. He showed them the house of his
Precious things.
Of his precious thing. Read on out.
The silver and the gold.
He said the what out?
The silver and the gold.
He said the silver and the gold.
In the spices.
Uh-huh.
In the precious ointment.
Mm-hmm.
And all the house of his armor.
He said, guess what, man? He brought these other nations in to see all the things he had. You think that's a good idea? Do anybody think that's a good idea? We just, hey, the president, man, the governor of Texas, come on over to my apartment. I'm gonna show you everything I got here. Look at this is where I put my guns at. Hey, check it out, check it out. This is where my spices and my food and stuff be at. You think this is a good idea? This never was a good idea for him to do it. Guess what? The Most High God left him to do what? To try him.
Right.
Y'all understand how this story going?
Because this is Hezekiah doing what? He's basically just showing off, man. Showing off, boasting, that's right, capping, you know, showing them everything that he got. Whatever you want to call it. We know those terms today, man.
Uh-huh. We don't.
And all the house of his armor.
Uh-huh.
And all that was found in his treasures.
And all the things that were found in his treasures. Read on now.
There was nothing in his house, nor in his dominion, that Hezekiah showed them not.
He said there ain't nothing that he had that Hezekiah didn't show him. Oh, that's tough. That's a tough thing, man. It ain't nothing that he got that they didn't show him. Just because, guess what? What does a gift do?
Destroy.
And they gave him all kind of gifts. And they inquired him with letters just to see what he got.
So we know what, Salakia.
Go ahead.
If we know what time frame Isaiah was in, what time was King Hezekiah ruling in? What? Assyria.
721. There you
All
go.
praise. We know the time frames. Go ahead up.
Even with this Morad Dash Beladan, he ruled between 721 and 710 BC. So even in that time, then like you say, that's the Assyrian captivity. Read on up.
Verse 3. Then came Isaiah the prophet unto King Hezekiah.
Here come Isaiah, the King Hezekiah. Read on.
And said unto him, What say these men? And from whence came they unto thee?
He said, man, well, who are these men? Who are these people that you got in here? And where did they come from? So now Isaiah checking his spirit, like, hold on. Most High God gave you all this, and you out here trying to show out in front of these people. What are you trying to do? Read on.
And Hezekiah said, They are come from a far country unto me, even from Babylon.
He said these people came from Babylon, man. They came from a far country. They come from Babylon. Read on.
Then said he, What have they seen in thine house?
He asked them, what you show them? Read on.
And Hezekiah answered, All that is in mine house have they seen. There is nothing among my treasures that I have not shewed them.
So guess what? He said, ain't nothing among my treasures that I ain't showed them, man. Read on.
Then said Isaiah to Hezekiah, Hear the word of the Lord of hosts.
So now, okay, you doing all that? So Isaiah said, you know what? Hear the word from the Lord of hosts then, man. Read on.
Behold, the days come that all that is in thine house.
He said, the days come that everything that's in your house, man, read.
In that which thy fathers have laid up in store until this day, shall be carried to Babylon. Nothing shall be left.
And he said, nothing shall be left, man. This is, you see, with Hezekiah, the Most High God was blessing him. But then Isaiah told Hezekiah, he said, look, everything you got is going to Babylon. You showed him all this, what you think he gonna do? You showed the devil this, what you think the devil gonna do?
Take it.
He gonna take it. He was gonna take it. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 21.
So Isaiah was basically giving what? Say it again. A prophecy. He was giving a prophecy. This is something what brothers really got to get into. This is what Christian apologetics, Christians, they don't understand this, how to be able to link up the Bible with prophecy. You're seeing a prophecy now. I'll go to where that thing was fulfilled.
2 Kings chapter 21, verse 11.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
The book of 2 Kings, chapter 21, verse 11.
Read.
Because Manasseh, king of Judah, had done these abominations and had done wickedly above all that the Amorites did,
Read.
which were before him, and had made Judah also to sin with his idols. Therefore, thus said the Lord God of Israel, behold, I am bringing such evil upon Jerusalem and Judah that whosoever heareth of it, both his ears shall tingle.
Now, this is going into Ahab, but these things go and correlate one and the same. We're going to tie it in together, though. Read on.
And I will stretch over Jerusalem the line of Samaria, and in the plummet of the house of Ahab. And I will wipe Jerusalem as a man wipeth a dish, wiping it and turning it upside down.
And it's the same thing that happened one and the same with Hezekiah, man. He had got the same old treatment with the Most High God, man. Read.
And I will forsake the remnant of mine inheritance,
Read.
and deliver them into the hand of their enemies.
Read
and
on. Read on.
Okay. And they shall become a prey and a spoil to all their enemies.
Because guess what? This is what the same thing, guess what? Even with Ahab, guess what? He dealt wickedly with what the Most High God gave him. Guess what happened? Hezekiah dealt wickedly what the Most High God gave him. So he said, with all you got, he's going to give it over to the enemies. The same thing that Isaiah was prophesying for Hezekiah to happen. He said, everything you got, your spoils and all these things, these going to go to your enemies, man. We don't.
Because they have done that which is evil in my sight.
Because what he did, that was evil in the Most High God's sight. Why you think the Most High God, he stepped back, guess what, in the middle of you, in the middle of him blessing you, and he giving you all this abundance, he steps back and look at you to see what you going to do next. And guess what we be doing? We so caught up in, we winning. Oh, yeah, we winning. We so caught up in winning. When it's time that the Most High God, now the trial time comes, now you, woe is me, Lord, I'm going through something. No.
Let me get a precept real quick. Even like how Ak is going into, give me Sirach chapter 14, verse 3. You get that, read that, Ak.
Okay. The book of Sirach, chapter 14, verse 3. Riches are not comely for a nigger.
Read that again, Ak.
Riches are not comely for a nigger.
It's telling you the Most High God took it because what? Riches ain't comely for a nigga, man. Guess what? Hezekiah was acting like a nigga towards the end of his reign. He was a righteous brother throughout most of his kingdom, but at that end, he fell short. But that's giving also, brothers and sisters, a lesson to guess what? We got to endure to the end, man. Don't give up in this walk, man, because you might not be able to recover from that thing, man. Read on up.
And what shall an envious man do with money?
And what shall an envious man do with money, man? You're in there showing off, doing this, doing that. The Most High God didn't tell you to do all that, man. The things that we acquire in this truth, guess what it's for? It's for to build up our nation, man. We can't never lose sight of those things, man. Every single thing that we got is for the betterment of our nation. Read on up.
He that gathered by defrauding his own soul gathered for others.
Read that again.
He that gathered by defrauding his own soul gathered for others.
So he basically acquired all those things, got those things just to give it over to the Babylonians, man. Because he wasn't dealing in a righteous spirit. Read on up.
That shall spend his goods righteously.
And that's going into a brother or sisters that's not good with money. You're out there just spending riotously, just doing whatever. Most High God is being able to allow us to stack up money for what? Rainy days. You can never lose track of that because things going to get harder and harder, brothers and sisters, man. It's going to get harder, so you want to always put something away for a rainy day. Go ahead,
and you just thinking how the world going. Man, look. Man, people get more food stamps than they ever had in their life. People get more stimulus checks and all kinds of stuff they ever had in their life. You think he giving, the Most High God is giving them, oh, yeah, man, we'll get this money. Guess what? Everybody got them PPP loans. A lot of them in jail right now. Because guess what? You spent what the Lord gave you, now you want more. Because now your eyes envious, man. I got to have more. I need it. I need it. And guess what? A lot of people ending up in jail. Why? Because they on some crap, man.
We was talking about this yesterday. Last night, Haggai, chapter 1, verse 5.
Oh, yeah. For real.
It's precept.
Oh, yeah.
Haggai 1 and 5. We were just talking about this, man. If you, like the Bible says, Sirach, man, give to a goodly person and not a sinner. You got to know what kind of person is able to deal with certain situations. Certain people are not able to deal with money, and we got to know that and understand that. But when we, like I say, you give us all these stimulus checks, you give us all this, what did you say? PPP loan, but the food stamps, man, I can't get out of that. You give us all these food stamps, man. Then we go and they want to sell all of them. Then guess what? Now they out of the refrigerator. They ain't got nothing in their refrigerator. And you know what I'm talking about? This thing happened. I heard this before, seen it. But read it.
The book of Haggai, chapter 1, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways.
That's the most important part. Consider your ways. Know who in situations are able. And know, guess what? When the Most High do give you these blessings, well, like I said, I always look back and see, why am I getting these blessings? What do I need to do in order to keep getting these blessings? Because it ain't just given to you for nothing, like we tell the Christian church. Oh, so Christ is the Most High sending His Son back to die so you can just be eat pork.
For real.
Or you just out here just saying you can't keep the law. No, he gave it to you for you to what? Grow and do something. Read on. Consider your ways.
Verse 6. Ye have sown much and bring in little.
And it's like we sow so much, but it's always little what we get. It's never enough. Read.
Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm.
Read on.
And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes.
And it's like going to Malachi 2 and 2. When the Most High said, I would even curse your blessing. He said, do you earn wages? But it's like you're earning wages with a pocket with holes in it. Every time you drop your little earnings in there and you go back to get it, it's gone. Because you don't understand the blessing that the Most High gave you and how to what? Equip that blessing to stay with it, you know what I'm saying? Or give the Most High God what He deserves for you even receiving the blessing, you know? So we got to make sure that we don't have these holes in our pockets when we get these blessings and we all on good terms. When it is sunshine and not rain, we're able to stay there.
Jump down to verse 9 right quick.
Verse 9. Ye look for much, and lo, it came to little. And when you brought it home, I did blow upon it.
Did what?
I did blow upon it.
You thinking you gonna save up for that big 100-yard, 100-inch TV?
Yeah.
Most like God did. Blew the money right out your hand. Because you weren't in the right spirit with those things, man. Even like with these income taxes, I know brothers and sisters may come up and get. Why you think brothers and sisters burn through those things so much, man? So fast. Because they're not in the right spirit when they get those types of things, man.
Right.
You know, so we got to, like I said, consider our ways when we're dealing with situations like these. Go ahead, Doc.
Become. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 20 and verse 4. And like I was saying, man, these are things going back into the storyline like they were bringing out, man. Brother showed all this, so Most High God said, okay. He blew up on that mud. Hey, this is what happens, man. When we get puffed up in our spirit, man.
Because I'm for real, bro. How many times do we say, Lord, I ain't going to do it no more. If you just help me out this time.
Yeah.
And then you finally get the help. You done forgot where the help came from.
Yeah, for real.
You forgot everything that you said I wasn't going to do. You going right back into doing. That's what Hezekiah was doing, man. He got the 15-year extension on his life. Got grace abundantly, 15 years, man. And dealt with the wicked, man.
Hey, but that lets you know how the prophets roll too. The prophets was the physicians too. You know what you do what the doctor do? Hey, you got 6 months to live. That's what the prophets was doing too. Tell you, God said you got this many days to live. Yeah. They was everything to when Most High God called them to do. This is what the job is about, man. Read it up.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 20, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
For thus saith the Lord, behold, I will make thee a terror to thyself.
Read.
And to all thy friends.
Read
and
on.
they shall fall by the sword of their enemies.
He said they shall fall by the sword of their enemies. Read on.
And thy eyes shall behold it. and I will give all Judah into the hand of the king of Babylon.
So this is what happened, man. We got went into Babylonian captivity. Why? Because hey, the prophecies of Hezekiah, man, this was going to happen, man. Read on.
And he shall carry them captives into Babylon,
Mm-hmm.
and shall slay them with the sword.
They're gonna slay them with the sword, man. Read on.
Moreover, I will deliver all the strength of this city,
Mm-hmm.
and all the laborers thereof,
Read.
and all the precious things thereof.
Because guess what? He got showed all the precious things. So guess what? Babylon was showed all this, so Babylon already know what to come get. You got everything over there. I already know what to come get. Okay, then you got that. Y'all, you hide your guns over there. Oh, that's a good spot to hide them guns. He ain't not in his mind. I'll be back over there a little bit to get it. Read on.
And all the precious things thereof,
Mhm.
and all the treasures of the kings of Judah, will I give into the hand of their enemies,
Read.
which shall spoil them,
We shall do what?
which shall spoil them, and take them, and carry them to Babylon.
And carry them. This is what happened, man. These is prophecies being like I said, being fulfilled. Let's go back to Isaiah chapter 39. These was prophecies that's being fulfilled. Read verse 6 again.
Verse 6. Jeremiah.
I mean Isaiah 39:6.
Okay, let me go back to that.
Go back to Isaiah chapter 39.
39:6.
You moving fast.
Now I said you gotta move fast then. Okay.
So,
You see how the pages turning?
see, I kept it on there.
Yeah, you did. I kept it on First Kings. I thought you would get that. Okay, the book of Isaiah, chapter 39, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, the days come that all that is in thine house, and that which thy fathers have laid up in store until this day, shall be carried to Babylon.
Shall be doing what?
Shall be carried to Babylon.
And this is what we were just reading in Jeremiah chapter 20, showing that the things that we have is going to be carried into Babylon. Man, read.
Nothing shall be left, said the Lord.
Okay, that's what they did. They spoiled us. They took all the things, man. All the goodies possession from us, man. Read on.
Verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
And of thy sons that shall issue from thee,
Mm-hmm.
which thou shalt beget, shall they take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon.
Let's go get that.
Hold on. You know I got that.
We ain't even, they gonna be too long. Daniel chapter 1. We ain't
Boy,
even there.
I was going to call a specific brother on that one. What verse is it, Brother Samuel? If you don't know, just say it
Like I
quick.
say, I already knew. I beat you to the punch. I knew you going.
You got to write that thing. I'm telling you, write that thing in there, man.
What verse?
We're gonna start at verse.
Because brothers got to see the prophecies in that thing, man. You got to be able to link them things up, man.
Got to. I already knew brothers was going. They was going. Hesitate.
Oh, man. Captain said he already knew y'all wasn't going to ask.
I already know.
Boy, that's cold.
I already knew. They was going. You know, I ain't. Y'all know how I roll. Ain't no room for no slipping. Ain't no hesitating, no nothing.
Boy, that's cold.
No. Read that out.
Daniel chapter 1, what verse?
Man, you can start at verse 1. Yeah,
Verse 1. The book of Daniel chapter 1, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem, and besieged it.
And besieged. Man, read on.
And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand,
Mm-hmm.
with part of the vessels of the house of God,
Read.
which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his God.
To the house of his God. Read.
And he brought the vessels into treasure's house of his God.
Of his God. Read on.
And the king spake unto Ashpenaz,
Mm-hmm.
the master of his eunuchs,
The master of his eunuchs. Read.
that he should bring certain of the children of Israel
Mm-hmm.
in of the king's seed,
Of the who seed?
and of the king's seed,
Of the king Hezekiah seed. Man, read.
and of the princes.
And of the princes. Jump down to verse 7. Get to it.
Verse 6.
6.
Verse 6. Now among these were of the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah,
Mm-hmm.
Mishael, and Azariah,
Mm-hmm.
unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names.
Mm-hmm.
For he gave unto Daniel the name of Belteshazzar,
Belteshazzar.
Mm-hmm.
the name of Belteshazzar,
Mm-hmm.
and Hananiah,
Mm-hmm.
and Shadrach,
Mm-hmm.
into Mishael and Meshach, and Azariah, and Abednego.
So y'all already know the story. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. What happened during those things. But the Most High God said he was going to make them what? It was going to be what? Eunuchs. This is going into the story of the storyline. And we want brothers and sisters to stay on to the storyline. So when you hear these things, it's good to go through these history to be able to break these things down. Because when you hear these things on the streets or we out here teaching, guess what? We expect brothers to be going to these precepts to know them.
Brother Barakar, what's a eunuch?
A eunuch is somebody that watched over like the women, right?
Yeah,
But they didn't have sex or nothing like that.
exactly. Because sometimes they had what?
Sometimes they were castrated.
That's right.
Become. Let's go back to Isaiah chapter 39. Like you said, we expecting brothers, hey, stay on point with that thing. Guess what? Sisters should be knowing this history too. This is our history. Y'all see these good movies y'all see these good movies on TV. This is a good movie that we read right now.
So even next to verse 6, you should have Isaiah 39, 6 and 7 right there, man. You got to have that thing to link that thing up, man.
Go ahead, verse 7. When you get there.
Okay.
Like you say, you should be linking. You should link these two things up. They got to be correlated, man, one to the another, because this is prophecy being fulfilled.
That's right.
When y'all get there, read
The book of Isaiah, chapter 39, verse 7. And of thy sons that shall issue from thee, which thou shalt beget, shall they take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon.
So y'all see how the prophecy correlate one and another? That's how you match them up, man. We don't.
Then said Hezekiah to Isaiah, good is the word of the Lord,
Read.
which thou hast spoken.
So he said, good is the word which he has spoken. Read.
He said, moreover, for there shall be peace and truth in my days.
So, but in Hezekiah days, it was peace and truth. But after Hezekiah, what happened? We went into Babylon. We went back into captivity. This is right here. Guess what? And we showing it's a correlate to showing you how what, brothers and sisters, we must be able to keep ourselves in the order with the Most High God, knowing how our God works and see how he moves. We should be locked in, man. Seeing how King Hezekiah did, hey, guess what? Later on down the line, we paid for it.
That's right.
How our forefathers did, we didn't keep God's laws. Guess what we doing right now? Paying for it. This is how the thing goes. But then one and the same, because Esau don't feel like he got to pay for his. We all brothers. God forgave us. We got away with it. You ain't got away with the damn thing, Esau.
Letting you know, back to the scripture we always bring out, we don't labor just for ourselves, and it's true, but we labor for our nation. So a lot of times, the things that you may go through, the sin that you may commit may have consequences on the whole congregation, man. Brothers and sisters got to be thinking on those things, man. That's why it's very important to be that good example all the time, as much as you can be, man. You never know who watching, man. Because you know the Most High God is always watching, man. Go ahead,
let's go to Mark chapter 13, verse 28. Like you say, the Most High God is always watching. He's going to see what you going to do. Why you think he gave him all this good old stuff? Then he said, all right, I'm going to step back. See what you going to do. Guess what? That's why you think the Most High God he said, I try to reign.
I'm telling you, I'm going to see who got the precepts tomorrow in Capt 101. It's an open book test. I'm going to see. I'm going to call on the brothers that's least expecting that thing, too.
The book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 28. Now learn a parable of the fig tree.
He said, so now learn a parable of the fig tree, man. Read.
When her branch is yet tender and putting forth leaves, you know that summer is near.
So guess what? It's telling us to learn a parable of the fig tree. So it's saying that when her branches is tender, guess what? We know summer is near. So let's go into the couple of parables right quick, man. Let's go to Mark chapter 11. Start at verse 12. Skip over a couple chapters.
The book of Mark, chapter 11, verse 12. And on the morrow, when they were come from Bethany, he was hungry. And seeing a fig tree afar off, having leaves, he came.
So he said when Christ is coming from Bethany, it was him and the 12 disciples together. They seen the fig tree And you know what I'm saying? Because Christ was looking at the fig tree, he was hungry, man. Read on.
He came. If haply he might find anything thereon.
So now he trying to see if there's anything on this tree, man. Read on.
And when he came to it, he found nothing but leaves.
So when he came to it, he found nothing but leaves. Read.
For the time of figs was not yet.
So the time of figs was not yet. Why? Guess what? When the figs, when they be ripe, guess what? When the leaves ripe, what it said time is? It's summertime. Right? Read on.
And Yahushua answered and said unto it, no man eat fruit of thee hereafter forever.
He said so, but guess what though? He didn't have no, when Christ was hungry, guess what? He looking at the fruit on the tree. He said, well, there ain't no fruit there. So guess what? Ain't no man ain't gonna eat from this tree, man. Forever. Read.
And his disciples heard it.
And his disciple heard it. Let's go to Matthew 21. It's saying the same thing, but we want to read it. Because this is to help break you down, this to help you break down the parable, man. Matthew 21 and verse 18. Yeah. This right here, you got to read this because this helps you to break the parable down, man.
The book of Matthew, chapter 21, verse 18. Now in the morning, as he returned into the city.
So now in the morning, when Christ returned into the city, man, read.
He hungered. And when he saw a fig tree in the way, he came to it.
He was hungry. He seen a fig tree in the way, and he came to it, man. Read.
And found nothing thereon.
And he ain't find nothing that was on. He ain't find nothing on that fig tree, man. Read.
But leaves only.
But what only?
But leaves only.
But leaves only, man. Read.
And said unto it, let no fruit grow on thee henceforth ever.
So he telling them, it's basically saying the same thing in Mark. Don't let nothing grow on this tree henceforth, man. Read.
Let me read that again. Let no fruit grow on thee henceforward forever. And presently the fig tree withered away. And when the disciples saw it, they marveled.
So when the disciples saw it, they marveled, man. Read.
Saying, how soon is the fig tree withered away?
So he telling us how soon the fig tree withered away. What is this going into? So Christ seeing the fig tree. He looking at a whole bunch of leaves on the tree, but I don't see no fruit on the tree. Let's go to Matthew chapter 25. Start at verse 42.
The book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 42. For I wasn't hungry, and ye gave me no meat.
He said, I was hungry, and you gave me no meat, man. Read.
I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink.
And he said, I was thirsty, you gave me no drink, man. Read.
I was a stranger, and ye took me not in.
Read.
Naked, and ye clothed me not.
Read on.
Sick, and in prison, and ye visit me not.
Read on,
Then shall they say, Shalaka, and then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee and hungry?
He said, when saw he said, when he said, so when you come up, so he said, Lord basically said, well, when I see you, when you gonna be like, well, Lord, when was you hungry? Read on.
Or thirst.
He said, so when was you thirsty? You're gonna be asking God, asking the most thing, yeah, he said, when was you hungry? When was you thirsty? Read on.
Or a stranger.
Or when was you a stranger, man? Read on.
Or naked.
Read on.
Or sick. Or in prison. And did not minister unto thee.
Read.
Then shall he answer them, saying, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to one of the least of thee, you did it not to me.
You did it not to me. Read.
And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but righteous into life eternal.
He said, but righteous into
life eternal.
Into life eternity, man. So this is why Christ seen the fig tree and he's looking at what the leaves that on this mud. I mean, I see the leaves. What the fruit at? Lord, so Christ said, well, I'm hungry. Why you not feeding me, man? That's what he looking at all of us. Hey, you in this truth? Where your work's at? Where your study pattern at? You said you love me. Guess what? Is the husband doing what he's supposed to do with the wife? Is the wife doing what she's supposed to do with the husband? Is the children doing what they're supposed to do with the mom and the dad? Guess what? Are we gathering with our people? Are we keeping the commandment? Are we holding each other accountable? The Lord said, the much you did it to the least one, you did it to me. So guess what? When he said he was hungry, yeah, those are times he said he was hungry. Those are times when he trying your spirit. This is something that we need to be thinking about. Go ahead,
Because give me Mark chapter 8. We all know the precept. Like Ak is breaking this down. We know that the trees is basically going into what? Men. It's going into men. And like Ak was bringing out in 2nd Ezra, the fruit that we need to bring forth is what is the law. Now, when Christ come back and he seeing you not bringing forth the law or bringing forth fruits meant of repentance, hey, he's gonna cut you down, man. Read this,
8 and what?
8 and 24.
The book of Mark, chapter 8, verse 24. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking.
So this is the parable that Christ was giving us. Parable is going into us as being compared to trees. Like we said, if you're not bringing forth the fruits, meaning the law, hey, you're going to be hewn down, man. And I know I'm going to touch on it. Go ahead.
big time. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter. 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 31.
Book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, verse 31.
Read.
For behold, I sow my law in you,
Read.
and it shall bring fruit in you.
Because guess what? Like he said, you see men as trees, but also guess what? So in these same trees, guess what? He said, I sow my law in you. You're supposed to be bringing forth fruit. That's right. Read.
And ye shall be honored in it forever.
And this is how we be honored. Guess what? A man may be known by his what? His fruit, whether it be good or evil.
That's right.
Read.
Verse 32. But our fathers, which received the law, kept it not, and observed not thy ordinances. And though the fruit of thy law did not perish, neither could it, for it was that.
Because he said the fruit of the law it's not gonna perish, man. Because it's just given to us. But guess what? We the one that's got to receive this thing, man. We the one that's got to, when the Most High God give us something, it's up to us. I gave it to you. Now what you gonna do?
That's right.
This is how our God think, man. Go to Jeremiah 6 and 19, man.
What is a precept real quick? Verse 32. We covered this many times.
5 and 22.
Matthew 5 and 17.
That's not what I'm looking for. Make it more plain. Right. Romans chapter 7, verse 1. You want precept showing you that the law is not done away with. Then even when you jump down to verse 37, notwithstanding the law perisheth not, but remaineth in its force. All those are precepts for verse 32, emphasizing that the law is never going to be done away with.
Big con on that.
You can go where?
Jeremiah 6 and 19.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 6, verse 19.
I'll read it.
Hear, O earth, behold, I will bring evil upon this people, even the fruit of their thoughts.
He said, even the what?
The fruit of their thoughts.
Because this is where it come from, man. He said, I will bring evil upon these people, even the fruit of their thoughts, man. Because guess what? The fruit goes into action, but the fruits also goes into your thinking. We already, because how do we know the fruit goes into your thinking? Hold it, go to Proverbs 4 and 23, because this is how we have issues. This is how we think about how we think life. Brothers and sisters should be precept upon precept when we see these things, man. He said he's gonna even give it to the fruit of your thought. Why? Because guess what? This is what your thought goes to. Read it out.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 23. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life.
Because guess what? Out of your heart is the issues of life, man. So that's why it's pivotal that the fruit of your thoughts be in order, not just your actions, but guess what? As well as your thoughts. When you seeing stuff come upon you, ooh, that brother right there, man, I don't even like it. So start thinking, why you don't like the brother? Well, sister, I don't like her. Well, why you don't like the sister? These are things that we got to start working on ourselves, man.
For real, because our mind, we constantly have a war in our own mind. You thinking things that's sometimes not even there. Sometimes you take things too far, and sometimes you don't take things serious enough. So it's always a war going on in our mind. Like I said, you want the Most High God to constantly establish your thoughts. Meaning what? Constantly going over the scriptures, constantly throwing up prayers, constantly throwing up fasts, so He can direct your thoughts. Go ahead.
Let's go back to Jeremiah 6:19. Finish that out loud.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 6, verse 19. Hear, O earth, behold, I will bring evil upon this people, even the fruit of their thoughts.
Even the fruit of their thoughts going into this is where our issue starting at, man. Because guess what? You have a problem with your brother. Guess what? In your mind before the action comes out, man. Guess what? I don't care if it's a split second. Brother bump you a little too hard. You're like, hold on, man. A split second made you react. Guess what? Sometimes a split second makes it make you think about it before you open your mouth to say some things too.
That's right.
Read.
Because they have not hearkened unto my word, nor to my law.
Nor to his what?
Nor to my law, but rejected it.
But rejected this, man. And you know, like I'm saying, you know how Israel is compared as the pig in this whole whole fig parable. Israel is compared as the pig. Let's go to Hosea, chapter 9. You say, man, brothers need to be making sure that we stay grounded. Sisters as well, we need to be grounded in God's word so we be able to break these things down, man. Hosea chapter 9, start at verse 9.
The book of Hosea chapter 9, verse 9. They have deeply corrupted themselves, as in the days of Gideon. Therefore, He will remember their iniquity. He will visit their sin.
Because guess what? Just like this, even in our forefathers, He remember their iniquity, we paying for it, man. Guess what? Right now, if a brother and sister's not repenting, trying to get themselves right for the kingdom, guess what, man? The Most High God gonna remember not just the past sins, He gonna remember the sins that's going forth too. We want to get all these things blotted out, man. This is what we working on, man. In this lifetime, do you think you doing enough to make it to the kingdom, man?
Do you think you bringing forth good fruits? You know, that's some things that brothers and sisters got to constantly meditate on. Am I doing enough in this truth, man? If Christ came back, would I be acceptable unto Him?
Yes,
do I feel like I really put in all that I had to do, man, for real?
And guess what? It's not just when you at your house by yourself. Guess what? Even when you at the feast day. Am I doing the right thing? Did I say the right thing to the sister? Are you examining yourself? You think the Most High God, if He said I do everything decency and in order, you think it's a lie? Do you think it's a lie? You think it's just a joke? Just even with the youngsters, y'all living y'all life, but guess what? You think the Most High God not looking at y'all, saying, "Hey, you didn't do that right." He looking at the women, children. He looking at everybody, man. Men.
You always want to look at your actions, man, and be like, because I had a class hinder. Don't want to hinder the nation. Was I a hindrance to anybody? At this point in time when I did this, did I hinder anybody in their walk? Did I not, like I said, did I not bring a good enough fruit to show them the right way? Because if you hinder somebody in that walk, guess what? That blood on your hand. That's extra blood added to you. Now you got to try to come up out of that hole and get out of that situation to get to the next situation and get up out of that situation. Because no matter what, no matter how long we study and do this thing, we always gonna be coming up, man. Trying to come up out of what we've been. Trying to turn that old man back into that new man. Trying to turn that old woman to that new woman. So we don't have time to hinder people in their walk. You know what I'm saying? Because you already got it on yourself. Like you said, it's adding on sin. It's adding on blood into your hand that you got to worry about now. Each and every situation that I hinder anybody was my actions hindrance to somebody seeing me. When I did this, when I cussed to do that, when I cussed them out in traffic. And these are the things that we look at ourselves when we talking to ourselves too. Don't get it twisted. We always got to look at this thing and make sure that we are not hindering anybody in this walk, man. And like I always like to say, the ministry won't be blamed. Because when people get the blame in the ministry because of you, oh, shit, that's a problem.
And guess what? I'm gonna help some of y'all bruise out too. You just think about it. We having a feast day. You be supposed to be doing everything joyful and glad in the heart. Are you doing everything you supposed to do? What if your house shot walk in here? And everybody doing what they want to do on the damn boy? Boy, you think you guess what? I'm gonna be in there partying like a mug, hoping the Lord, hope this is good for you, Lord. You can sit there and you want to stand yourself on the sideline, want to act like, guess what? You better make a joyful noise. He told us to do these things. You keep on doing what you want to do. Guess what? Murmuring, backbite, talking, guess what? That stuff don't mean a damn thing to us. But when it come down to God's law, guess what? We gonna hold brothers and sisters accountable to these things, man. You can't play the games, man, in no kind of way. Guess what? Y'all leaders, y'all didn't say nothing. Guess what? Captain Jerubbaal gonna say something. Guess what? Captain Benaniyah gonna say something. Captain Yard gonna say something, man. We're gonna say something. That's our job. You think we're not gonna say something? We can see anything out there. We coming to you. It ain't no joke. This is how it go, man. And if brother's not in the right spirit, guess what? If you think you got enough to go with the gospel, guess what? Pull your Bible out. Let's line these scriptures up. We're gonna let God be true and let every man be a liar. This is how it go. We ain't finna play no games like that. Man, your house shall walk in the building right now. Guess what, man? Immediately, every brother and sister in here, you better have your thoughts together. Because he can read your thoughts. He can read your thoughts. So whatever you feeling, guess what? You better go ahead and have it right. Read verse 10 out.
Verse 10. I found Israel like grapes in the wilderness.
He said he found Israel like grapes in the wilderness, man. Read.
I saw your fathers as the first ripe in the fig tree.
He said he saw our father as the first ripe in the fig tree, because this is how he comparing us one into the same, man. Read.
At her first time. But they went to Baal Peor.
But they went to Baal Peor. We always, guess what, the Most High consider us something, but we always go away from him, man. Baal Peor is going in as the devil, man. Read on.
And separated themselves unto their shame. And their abomination were according as they love.
And he said, and their abomination was according to what they love. So whatever you love, your abomination is going to be right there for you to have, too. Is seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, man, and all these will be added unto you. This is how it goes. It's never not going to go this way. When you go above, beyond, go, well, Lord, I did this. The Lord said, well, show me in the scriptures what I told you to do that. Brothers and sisters got to make sure we putting our brick in, make sure that we doing thus said the Lord at all costs. Because my mind thinking is your outside walking here, what's going to happen? Let's go to Job chapter 18, verse 16. This is something we need to be getting our mind together. Guess what? If I'm at the house, I'm arguing with my wife, or the wife arguing with the husband, whoever your house shot standing right there, he gonna say it again. He gonna say it again. Say, what you say? I read your thoughts, so say it to him again. But Lord, I ain't say nothing. I can read your thoughts. Hey, take it how you want to take it, man. Hey, one thing about it, these scriptures say what they say, man. Read it out.
The book of Job, chapter 18, verse 16.
Read.
His roots shall be dried up beneath.
Read.
And above shall his branch be cut off. His remembrance shall perish from the earth.
Read.
And he shall have no name in the street.
And he shall have no name. This is us. Guess what? This is Esau being wiped off the planet. But guess what? This is also going into a further, guess what? Going into that fig tree that got hewn down. Because guess what? Judgment started in the house of Israel first. It's going to start with us first. We going to get the judgment first. You thinking Esau going to be for 1,000 years, going to wipe them off the planet? What's going to happen to the people that before? Guess what? We're going to be in the lake of fire 1,000 years before Esau get wiped off the planet. Do y'all realize this? 1,000 years before Esau get wiped off the planet, our people going to be in the lake of fire. First. We are the first ones going. Our nation is the first nation that's going to the lake of fire. Get that in our minds. Comprehend it and hold it to yourself. You're going to the lake of fire first if you don't repent and come back to our God. Start thinking about this, man. Read.
He shall be driven from light into darkness.
He shall be what up?
He shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world.
This is I say this going into Esau, but guess what? This is also going into guess what? People that don't repent and go back to our God, man. He's not gonna play the games with us. He ain't never played. You think our God's the type of God that's gonna play the games, man? He gonna play the game with us, and it's all good. Let's go to Revelation chapter 6 right quick, man. We hoping, brothers and sisters, hey, hoping some of these spirits get girded up. Now this right here is going into the sixth seal, but it's also going into how he's comparing us as a fig and how these things come up. This is how our mind got to be going, man. This is how God works, man. Revelation chapter 6 and verse 13.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 13. And the stars of heaven fell into the earth.
I'm reading.
Even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs.
He said, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, man. Dang, so the fig tree can cast her untimely figs. This is how we got the same comparison goes one into the same. We're gonna go into that read.
When she is shaken of a mighty wind.
When she is shaken, tossed to and fro of a mighty wind, man. Let's go to Ecclesiastes, chapter 7. Hope brothers and sisters, man, getting a good understanding on how. That's why the Lord said, hey, man, learn the parable of the fig tree, man. I hope brothers and sisters getting a better understanding on how these things correlate one and the same, man. Because a good tree gonna bring forth good fruit, man. But a bad tree gonna bring forth bad fruit too. Start at verse 17.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 17. Be not overmuch wicked, neither be thou foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time?
Because it's just like a fig. Guess what? On the untimely, same thing. Revelation 6. Same thing. Revelation 6 and 13 said, as the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casted her untimely figs. So that's what, man. Read Ecclesiastes 7:17 again.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 17. Be not overmuch wicked, neither be thou foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time?
He said, why should you die before your time, man? This is going into physical death, but it's also going into spiritual death, too. Read.
It is good that thou shouldest take hold of this.
This is good that you should take hold of this, though, man. Read.
Yea, also from this withdraw not thine hand. For he that feareth God shall come forth of them all.
He said that he that feareth God gonna come forth of them all, man. So you ain't got to worry about this untimely death, or you ain't got to be worried about these things, man. Because guess what? When you fearing God, guess what? You gonna all these things goes away, man. You ain't got to worry about these things, man. Let's go back to Mark chapter 11. You got to worry about these things, man. Something that we need to get in our mind, man. We say we love the Lord. Guess what? Do we really love the Lord? We got to make sure that we doing the things that the Lord said he loved. Jump down to verse 20.
The book of Mark, chapter 11, verse 20. In the morning, as they passed by, they saw the fig tree dried up from the roots.
So guess what, man? That's the same thing. The question was asked in Matthew chapter 21. So, well, when is it gonna dry up? When is it gonna die? They said in the morning they seen the fig tree. Guess what? Withered up, man. Read on.
And Peter, calling to remembrance, said unto him, Master, behold, the fig tree which thou cursed is withered away. And Yahushua answered, saying,
hold on. And so Peter called unto Christ, and he said, Master, behold, the fig tree that thou cursed, it withered away. What you think this is how? What you think is gonna happen? Like what it said in Malachi 2 and 2, he'll curse our blessings. Guess what? You was doing good. It looked like you was on fire. Looked like you was doing thus said the Lord. Looked like it. Let's go to Luke chapter 8, verse 15, man. Said it looked like it. It looked like he was on fire. Looked like he was doing thus said the Lord, man. Man, that brother right there, man, well, he had it going. Yeah, it looked like. 8 verse 15.
The book of Luke, chapter 8, verse 15. But that on the good ground are they, which in an honest and good heart, having heard the word, keep it, and bring forth fruit with patience.
I'll read that again.
Luke chapter 8, verse 15. But that on the good ground are they, which in an honest and good heart.
He said, which is in the honest and good heart, man. You got a good ground, you got a good foundation, and you got an honest and you got a good heart, man. Read.
Having heard the word.
Having heard the word.
Keep it.
It said, not just hear the word, you got to keep it. Man, look, well, I understand. Read up.
And bring forth fruit with patience.
And bring forth fruit with patience. Just like, guess what? Bruce be in a rush sometimes. Just let me teach it. But they ain't got no patience. They want to get built up. It's giving us an order on how these things go when you get built up, man. Going into teaching, going into learning, going into showing how you can get good fruit. Read verse 15 again. It shows you how to get good fruit. Read that again.
Verse 15 from the top. But that on the good ground are they.
He said, but that on the good ground. That means a good solid foundation, man. Are they, man? Read on.
Which in an honest and good heart.
These people got to have an honest and a good heart, man. Read.
Having heard the word.
Having heard the word.
Keep it.
It said the next word is to next two words say keep it. You hear it and you keep the word. Read.
And bring forth fruit with patience.
And bring forth fruit with patience, man. Because guess what? We know every fruit ain't guess what can't be made overnight, man. It's just not gonna happen, man. Fruit. Guess what? You might bud a couple leaves up overnight. You don't see no trees and stuff. Whole stalks of corn just come up overnight.
And hey,
some GMOs or something.
For real. And it's always the flip side. Read verse 15 again.
Verse 15 from the top. But that on the good ground are they.
It says, but that on the good ground are they. So we know that brothers and sisters have problems when they what? Not on the good foundation. Read on.
Which in an honest and good heart.
We know brothers and sisters that's not dealing in a sincere and honest heart. We know that they what? They have problems in this truth. It's outlined just like how Ak is saying. You can take it the good way or it's always the reverse way, man. You see brothers and sisters when they come into the truth. Some brothers come in this thing for vainglory, just to sit up and want to be seen on film. Brother, the scriptures that you learn is for the edification of your nation, man. Not so you can be looking like the big dog or Mr. Keep Precept King around here. Even like we say, even going into the sisters, because like we say, everybody is not in the truth with sincerity of heart, man. Some brothers and sisters in there for their own secret agendas. Read on up.
Haven't heard the word.
Now a lot of times people hear the word, read on.
Keep it.
And it's the flip side. They what? They don't keep it. So they read it all the time. And then they don't do a damn thing that the Bible say. This going to brothers and sisters that's in Christianity. And it going to some brothers and sisters in the truth as well. Read on.
And bring forth fruit with patience.
And bring forth fruit with what? With patience. We know the flip side of that. Brothers and sisters, you in the truth, but you don't have patience. Brothers don't have patience with their wives. Wives don't have patience with their husbands. And vice versa and so forth. So you got to have those things, man. It goes both ways, man. Go ahead.
Matter of fact, let's go get that flip side because they was on good ground and they did it. Hey, guess what? Right here, they was on good ground. They heard the word. They kept it. They brought forth good fruit. Go to Matthew 13:22. That's the flip side of it, man. That's the flip side of it. It's all like I say, it's always a flip side. We just got to go to where the flip side is because it's the scripture gonna talk for itself, man. I broke that thing down good. Read it up.
The book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 22. He also that received seed among the thorns is he that heard the word.
Guess what? They wasn't on the good ground. They received the word amongst thorns. Guess what, man? You amongst brothers and sisters. They ain't built up at all. But guess what? We want to talk back and forth. Man, I don't believe that, this and that. But guess what? If you don't believe what Captain bring out, hey, After the class, we ask you what question you what anybody got any questions. Then they go home and then y'all fighting like cats and dogs. But then you go home and then you got a problem with everything somebody's saying. We actually at the class every time we say get what our numbers on the description below. Our phone numbers on the back wall. Our phone numbers on the flyer. Yeah, what we bringing out the scriptures, we showing you what the Most High God say. But do you believe the report? And you have some brothers come in some people count. Guess what? Just to come in like the devil to steal, kill, and destroy. Yeah. And ain't got no foundation. Ain't got a what mama say? Ain't got a pot to piss in the window to throw it out of. Ain't got it. It just not there for them. Read 13:22 again from the top, man.
Verse 22 from the top.
Mm-hmm.
He also that received seed among the thorns is he that heard the word.
He heard the word, read.
In the curve of this world.
But in the curve of this world, guess what? He couldn't let that old man go. Read.
In the deceitfulness of riches.
Read.
Choke the word.
Choke the word, man. Right out of him. He heard the word. He received it and got it. Choked right out of it, man. Read.
And he becometh unfaithful.
Unfruitful.
I'm sorry. And he becometh unfruitful.
And he said, and he becometh unfruitful. Now he ain't got the fruits no more. The fruits this work's not showing no more. Because guess what? Now you being tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine. Here you go. You ain't got no work. You don't want to keep the Sabbath. You don't want to keep no feast days. You ain't doing nothing no more. That's the flip side. Now you right back in the world, man. Guess what, man? Might see you on the video twerking or something, man. I don't even know.
Let me get that precept real quick. Give me 1 John chapter 2, verse 15.
You say you might be doing anything online. Because guess what? We have seen brothers, guess what? Left the truth. And guess what? Turned right back, started what he started messing with trannies. Brothers even had that spirit on him at first, man. But all of a sudden he got out the truth. Now he messing with trannies and all kind of stuff, man. You don't know what the Most High God said. I will choose your delusion. Read this talk.
Read this out.
The book of 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world.
Read it again up.
Love not the world.
Read on.
Neither the things that are in the world.
Because we know the things that's in the world. Covetousness, envy, money, cars, clothes, women. Read on.
If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
If you loving the things that's in this world, it's telling you plain the love of God is not in you. It don't mean that you can't have some things, but when you put those things over the work of the Most High God, hey, boy, brothers have to check their spirit on their thing, man. I'm telling brothers, hey, the work comes first. I'm telling you, work comes before what? Yourself. It comes before your wife. Even your children, man. This thing come before all that. Even when Christ said, if you loving father, mother more than me, you're not worthy. So if you putting anything before you have to do the work in this truth, and you have to literally check your spirit on those things. Read on up.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh.
And he's letting you know the things that's in the world is just the lust of the flesh that's good to the eyes. Read on.
The lust of the flesh and the lust of the eye.
Read on up.
And the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world.
Go ahead, up.
Be calm, man. That's precept, man. Of John chapter 15, verse 1. Like we say, we hoping brothers and sisters get a better understanding of what good fruits they need to be bringing forward, man. And some of the evil fruit in the evil fruit they need to be shaking, man. These are the things that we need to be getting our mind right for, man. Because the Most High God, guess what? He coming back to bring vengeance on this planet, man. And he gonna make sure the ones that's in him, guess what? The Most High God said, man, gave the power to the Son. He said, I ain't gonna lose not one. But the one that really want to be lost, guess what? He gonna let you be lost too, man. He gonna let you, if you want that, that's what you want. He'll let you have the desires of your heart, man. Read John chapter 15, verse 1.
The book of John, the book of St. John, chapter 15, verse 1. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman.
So Christ said he is the true vine. And guess what? The Most High God is the husbandman, man. Read.
Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away.
Read that again.
Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away.
Christ making it plain to us. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he take it away. The Most High God, guess what? You got a problem with the word of the Most High God, the Most High God gonna take you away, man. It is what it is, man. Read.
In every branch that beareth fruit, he purges it, that it may bring forth more fruit.
So he said every branch that bear fruit, he purges. How did he purge it? He's gonna try you. He's gonna put you through things. Guess what? Even if he give you abundance, guess what? He'll pull back from you to see where we just read this, man. Guess what? Don't think that the Most High God is not trying you, man. That's what I'm gonna read this sidebar. Revelations 3:19. He said, "As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent." Because he said, "As many as I love, I'm gonna rebuke and I'm gonna chasten you, man." This is the love of the Most High God for us, man. Read on up.
Verse 3. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you.
Read.
Abide in me.
He said to do what?
Abide in me.
Christ said to abide in him, man. Abide in the Most High God's words, man. His law, statutes, and commandments, man. Read.
And I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself.
He said, because the branch can't bear fruit of itself, man. Read.
Except it abide in the vine.
Read.
No more can ye, except ye abide in me.
So guess what? No more that you saying that you can grow in the Most High God. Guess what? If you're not following his words, man. If you're not following, you can't say, it ain't no more excuses, man. It's no more. You can't say, I got to the kingdom by myself, or I got to the kingdom, guess what? Without following God's words, without reading his law, statutes, and commandments, you can't say that. He said, except ye abide in me. Christ is the word of the Most High God. He is God's law, statutes, and commandments. So whatever the Lord say, guess what? That's what Christ's going to do. He followed the laws perfectly. So guess what we must do? We must show the world how perfect we must be to walk with the Most High God, man. This is our job, man. It ain't just putting on fringes and just thinking you can just come in and all lollygags. No, it ain't about that. It's about keeping God's laws and growing, man. Showing them fruits, man. Because it say a man may be known by his fruit, man. You'll know it. If you don't bring forth no fruit, if you've been in the truth 2 years, and guess what? You've been in the truth 2 years, and guess what? And you still coming up in this mud, and the only thing you doing is just find the outfit that you wearing for the feast day, and that's all you doing, you're not in the truth. Because every single one of us, guess what? When we first started out in this truth, guess what? We wasn't doing the dang on thing we was learning. Then guess what? The plate got bigger, to the point the Most High God gave us a congregation. It's by fruits.
That's right. It's always a measurement, like we always say. It's a litmus test, man. You want to see if you're growing in precepts more than you knew the previous year, growing in understanding of the scriptures, of the history, growing in your spirit. Meaning what? You're not doing those same ignorant sins that you did the last time that you're doing this year. You want to show growth from year to year, man.
You're coming on it. Read on up.
Verse 5. I am the vine, ye are the branches.
He said, I'm the vine, ye are the branches. Read.
He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit.
And the same bringeth forth much fruit, man. This is what we want to do, to bring forth much fruit, man. Read.
For without me, ye can do nothing.
Christ said, without him, without the word of the Most High God, you can't do nothing, man. Read.
If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch.
He said, if a man abide not in him, you are cast forth as a branch, man. Read.
It is withered.
And is what?
It is withered.
And is withered, man. Read.
Meaning what? The Most High God to dry you up and take this understanding from you.
Come on. That's exactly what it's meaning, man. Read on.
And men gathered them and cast them into the fire, and they burn.
And they what?
And they are burned.
And they are burned, man. Guess what? These scriptures say what they say, man. We hope brothers and sisters, man. Hey, like, share the video, man. Help us put this truth around the four corners of the earth, man. This is our job, man. To make sure that we waking up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. This is our job to make sure that, guess what? We bringing forth fruit, man. This is our job all day, every day, baby. This is our job. You see, we always say follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Yeah, law. So we got to bring forth a law. You got something?
Oh, give me Numbers chapter 15, verse 38.
Numbers 15 and 38. This is a law.
Brothers want to make sure, like I say, wearing fringes is very, very important. Like I say, that's showing your fruits too. So brothers and sisters want to make sure they always wearing your fringes, letting your light shine. This thing is very important, brothers.
Like you said, you should see if a brother, if you see the growth, guess what? If you was really abiding in the Most High, you should see growth.
That's right.
Guess what, man? Me and the captains were sitting up here thinking about, man, to grab every single brother in here and give y'all an assessment. Because some brothers, guess what, man, don't get it sometimes. We try to tell Ox, hey, man, you can't do that. Ox still be doing the same dang on thing. Guess what? Some sisters, they still do the same thing. Do we got to call everybody in here one by one to tell them? That shouldn't be how we shouldn't have to work like that, man. Why you think Brother Paul was contended so much, man? Why you think Nehemiah, Ezra, Isaiah, why they was contended? Because guess what, man? You would see the spirit and brother, they like, dang, you would think they would have did that. But guess what, man? Sabbath day supposed to be holy. Guess what? The feast day is supposed to be holy. Some days higher than other days. Do we still think that this is okay? Well,
Get to read that, all right?
The book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generation.
So brothers and sisters want to make sure that they always applying this. Always, man. Because it's a very important law to be instituted. Read on up.
And that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
So you want to have your fringes with a border of blue. Read on.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord and do them.
So guess what? It's very important because it reminds us to do what? Stay in the spirit. To stay keeping God's laws, statutes, commandments. You out at your job, you out at the grocery store, you at the feast days. Brothers and sisters should never leave the house without fringes on. Read on.
And that ye seek not after your own heart in your own eye.
And it reminds us those things too. Don't be leaning on your own understanding. Guess what? Don't seek after your own eyes or your own heart. Read on.
After which ye used to go a whoring.
Because we go a whoring after a lot of things. So it's a reminder, a spiritual reminder for brothers and sisters, man, and it's true. Go ahead.
read verse 40.
Verse 40. That ye may remember and do all my commandments and be holy unto your God.
So this is just the point, man. So we remember all the commandments and be holy unto the Most High God. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.
Shalom.